During this video segment, I will show you how to upload your courses into Curriculum Track. So let's go to a Curriculum Track account, and if I go to our courses database, notice there's no science courses in here, no math, and so forth. So our goal is to populate Curriculum Track with your courses. Before doing that, we recommend that you first get your users uploaded because each of your courses will be attached to one of the users or one of the teachers. So it looks like I have my teachers uploaded, so now I'm ready to move forward and upload my courses or import them. So notice on the left side there is an import courses link, so let's click on that. And what it does then is it brings up the information on how to prepare your data for uploading. Notice it says make sure the only information in your Excel sheet is the data, no column headers. So what we recommend you do is prepare your data for uploading in Excel. So I'm going to open Excel, and I have my course information here. I can scroll down it so you get an idea of what that might look like. Now, hopefully you have this information in your student management system, then you can have whoever is in charge of that student management system export the data out of there into Excel, and then you can follow through the rest of the way using what I'm going to show you in this video. So let's assume this came from the student management system. The next thing it says then is make sure, and by the way, notice it says no column headers. So what it's saying is take this row out. Honestly, I think I'll wait to take that out because it might be helpful for me as I prepare my data so I know what each of the columns is for. Also notice it says that bold fields are required. So pretty much everything is required in columns A through I except for the grades, what grade a class is attached to. However, I think it's a real good idea to include that as well, even though it is optional. So notice the course number here. That has to be a unique course number for each individual course. So if I work my way down just a bit, notice for instance here, course 133 is listed multiple times. However, in each of those occurrences, it is the same course. And you might say, why do you have that in here multiple times? That's because we actually have 4 different teachers that teach that course. So if you have multiple teachers for each class, for each course, you would want to have each of those in its own line item. That way we make sure we have all 4 teachers attached to that course. So notice these are unique. It looks like here we have something similar, but it actually looks like the same teacher is attached. So this is probably a case where it doesn't really pay to have all 3 of those entries since it's the same teacher. However, if I do upload it, that's okay. It's just going to upload this 2 times, but it's going to recognize it's the same teacher, and it'll just update this line right here with this line here. So then we have to have the course name itself. So you want that to be fairly descriptive. Notice this says Art 6. That's okay. We can clean that up in Curriculum Track very easily. But I like these names a little bit better. Art 2nd grade and so forth. The next item, so let's see how we're doing here. The next item is the department. But notice here it looks like I have the grade next. So what I would do is I'll click on Excel. I'm going to click and drag so I just make a little room. So I'm going to select these 2 columns, and if I right click and say insert, notice it inserts some space here. And let's see if I can make this just a little bit bigger. So we want to get the department in column C. So where was department? There it is. So if I highlight that and go Control X to cut it, I'm going to go to column C, Control V to paste. So now I have the department in the right place. The next item is the teacher first name, last name, email, and ID. So let's work on that next. So what was it again? First name is the next item. So let's go ahead and again, let's Control X to cut it and then Control V to paste it. Looks like I'm going to need a little more room. So let's do this, insert, and make some more room. The next item, I believe it was the, let's see, last name. So let's go grab the last names next. Control X and bring that in. The next was the email address. And so we'll cut that and paste that in. I believe that's supposed to be F. G is supposed to be the ID. So let's put that here. And then the grades is optional, but that's supposed to be in column H. So let's go ahead and pull that in next. And it is optional. So if you don't have grades, that's fine. You're still going to need to have a column for that, though. So in other words, if you don't have grades, it might look something like this, but you're still going to need to have column HB for grades and then put the filler in column I. Since we have grades, I'm going to go ahead and put those in. And also notice it says the possible values. For second grade, it can be 02 or just 2. And if there are more than one value, you can separate those by commas. So let's go ahead and take a look at, see if we have an example of one of those. That's kindergarten. Doesn't look like I have too many of those examples. But for instance, if this class was going to be both 7th and 8th grade, I can do something like this. So let's bring that back to 7th. So the final thing I have to do, and it is essential that we do this, is in column I you have to have a filler, which is basically going to be a lowercase x. What that does is it indicates to the import that all the information for this first course and teacher is done, and so when it sees an X, it knows to go to the next line. So let's go ahead and pull that all the way down. You can do that in Excel by using a Control D. Just select that first one and drag down and go do a Control D for down. And so I think now I have my data ready to go. Make sure the first and last columns do not have any blank entries, which it should not. But let's just double check that because this is required and I is required, the filler, so we should be fine there. And then we need to go ahead and delete out our first row if you have column headers. And now I can go ahead and save this. So let's save our file. And now it's ready for uploading. So let's go ahead and browse to find that file that we just prepared. So let me go ahead and find that. Guess I have more files than I thought here. So here's the file that I just prepared, and let's go ahead and click import. So then the next thing it's going to ask here is if you have new teachers. Because if you have a teacher that was not already in the user's database, it will add it. It's saying which group do you want them to be assigned to, if any. And then the next item is it's going to ask you which template to use. If you're a brand new curriculum track school, I recommend you use the default template. It's probably only your only choice. And then what it's going to do is it shows the departments in your file and the programs in curriculum track. And basically what it's saying is in those programs, so let's look at our file once again. That's right here, art and Bible and language arts and math and so forth. It's saying where do you want each of those to go in curriculum track? And it does a pretty good job of matching it up, but if you're not sure, you would just find it in the list here. Other miscellaneous, yeah, that's where I'm going to put that. Or if you don't want to upload it, you could always skip it too. But I'll just put it in other miscellaneous, and I could always take that out again later if I wanted to. Let's see, there it is. And the rest of these look good. So the reason why this showed up is because I've done this before for this school. But for instance, Spanish, you'd probably have to find world languages. And let's go ahead and click import. What it does then is it's going to show you the results. And just scan through it. It looks good. If there was any problems, it would show that in red. that it wasn't uploaded because maybe you didn't have a course number or something like that. So let's click here to return. And so now notice in math, I have all my courses here. And notice that it has teachers attached to those courses. If you need to change any of the attachments, you can still click on this and change the attachments, but they should all be here. So what you may want to do before your next consultation is just review your data, make sure it all looks good. And notice here it says these, you could rename these too. A real quick way to rename these would be to rename multiple courses. And this allows me to rename several in one step here. And now click Save. And so now if I go to Manage Courses, notice that they're renamed. If they're in the wrong order, you could always go and use this course sort ordering tool. And what it allows you to do is if you click, you can drag and drop where it's supposed to be. We also provide an Excel file that you can use as a template. So if you go to the help manual and I would go to the overview and setup and then the setup template, but I believe it's here as well. Yes, here's the upload course template. And what that'll do is it'll actually give you an Excel file that you can download and you can use that as a starting point. This now concludes this video segment.